Proclamation, letter to all leaders. In 1517, Martin Luther, priest and scholar, nailed what appeared to be then an infamous 95 thesis paper to the doors of the Catholic Church in Wittenberg, Germany, that later would begin the Protestant Reformation. Nearly 502 years later, I find myself writing, as an ambassador of peace, a letter and proclamation to all leaders. This letter may not be nailed to your prospective doors like Martin Luther did in 1517, but may these words be nailed to your heart. May these words cause you to not only think, but to evaluate your purpose in becoming an example of nobility for others to follow. As a leader, it is vital to society as a whole to listen to the voice of the voiceless, those who are unable to speak for themselves. Many leaders have forgotten why they were chosen to serve in the capacity in which they do. The love of money has become the bottom line instead of the love of people. Jesus spoke against money changers when he went into the temple of God and cast all them out that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer. You have made it a den of thieves. Sadly, some of you have been placed in leadership, continue to make the Father's house a den of thieves, and as a result, the people suffer. You may be thinking this only applies to the church. No, my friend, read closer. America has been an example of freedom echoing around the world. In its pledge, we recite the words in closing, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. God's house, America, is a house, nation of prayer, but it has been made a den of thieves. America is a land that flows with milk and honey, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Has America not learned from its past mistakes? If our leaders continue to allow the people's voice to fall upon deaf ears, calamity will befall our nation like never before. God's people are hurting, and hurting people hurt people. When will the hurting stop? Children are dying, mothers are crying, people are hopeless, suicide is a norm, communities are crumbling, distrust and disdain for our leaders is on the rise. Leaders are ordained by God. What kind of leader are you? Are you one where the people sit back and shake their heads in disbelief? Or are you one who puts the cares of people first? A true leader seeks guidance from the Heavenly Father. The Father knows what his people need. Why? Because he listens. Are you seeking the Father, or do you have your own agenda? It's time for our leaders to get back to prayer, not superficial prayer like, I hope I get a good parking space, but prayer in which you bombard the heavens for godly answers that will assist you in doing what is right. It's time for our leaders to reintroduce themselves to the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, Israel, the I am that I am. When you get to know that God, then you will understand who you are in him and what he wants to do in and through you. It's that God that knew you before you were formed in the belly of your mother's womb. And it is that God who will show you the plan he has for you and for his people. If the head leaders are broken, so shall the body. And a nation divided will fall. When leaders are able to tap into the true source of their strength, they will not only be able to lead victoriously, but see through the eyes of God the love he shares for all. May you rise in truth that can only be found in him, and it's his truth that shall set the captives free. Edie Darling, Ambassador of Peace.